What's up guys, Ace here, and today I'm here with a Modern Warfare video, and I haven't been uploading because my teeth got extracted. 5 teeth actually got removed, and that was a really painful experience, but now we're here. We have Modern Warfare that released this last weekend, and we've had a week to play it, a little over a week now, and we have a lot of opinions as a community that I think that we all should recognize and see how Modern Warfare should be dealt with from this point on, because there are a lot of things that are awesome with this game. I really do enjoy this game, but there are some problems with it that I definitely think that affect a lot of people that play this game. And I just want to say that I really enjoy Modern Warfare. It's a really fun game, but it is definitely an exhausting game. After a while of playing the game, it's hard to keep playing and playing because it just gets to the point where it's too much. It just gets so repetitive, and it's not like the gunplay is repetitive or anything. It's just the way you die and the way everything feels, the flow of the maps. It just feels like you're not getting anything done, and it just feels not great after a while. So we're gonna be going into some things that I think that the community would like changed or removed from the game, and why all of these things make the game just so exhausting to play after a while. So first off, while this isn't proven, it seems to be that this game has some skill-based matchmaking, and that really, I don't think that belongs in a Call of Duty game, just because skill-based matchmaking is more for, say, a ranked mode or some other, like, more competitive game. I think a lot of the Call of Duty for player base is not necessarily like casual, as in you don't care what happens while you play, but more casual as in I want to have fun, and so I'm going to play this game and just have a good time for the couple games that I play, or maybe like hours that I play. I just want to have fun. There's going to be obviously some people that are better than you on the other team or on your team, but there's also going to be some people that are worse than you, and it just doesn't have to be such a competitive sort of game mode where everybody's about the same skill as you. So if you do end up being a real tryhard towards the beginning of the season, say it's a season, and you just happen to be really competitive, I guess, in the beginning of that, it would just really impacts you in like all of your later games, because you're kind of matched around all of those players that are really trying hard to be the best that they can be, and it just kind of ruins the experience, in my opinion. But that's, again, all of these are my opinions, and I think a lot of other people share these opinions, but again, at the end of the day, not everybody has to agree with them. But yeah, anyway, next we have these character callouts in the game where your character will say something like, he's over there, or he's by the bridge, or the most like infamous one, contact. And while these are really cool, it's really hard to use that information and do something good with it, because a lot of times the comments that your character makes are just so vague. It's like, contact, I don't see him on my screen. I'm probably gonna die in the next like second or two, but I just don't know where he is, and I think I'd rather not stress about it if I don't see him anyway. But it would be nice if they could give you like some sort of cardinal direction or something like that, or just more of a specific call out, instead of saying he's over there or he's in the building when there's like 17 different buildings on the map in front of you. So that's something that could use some work, or just make it also, okay, this is also something different, but the volume at what the characters say these callouts are just, it's crazy how loud they are, especially in the gunfight mode. You can hear another person saying this from a long ways away, and you can pretty much pinpoint their exact location, and the same thing goes for them when you make that call out. So it's kind of hard to play a game mode like that where it's just 2v2 and no respawns, where your characters are screaming at the top of their lungs all the time. So that should be, I think, fixed. And I think the biggest problem with this game, for me at least, is just the maps. The maps are just really weird, and again, this is probably the most exhausting part of the game, is the map flow. The maps are just designed in a way. I'm really appreciative that it's not the standard 3-lane maps that we've been getting for the past couple of years now, but that being said, these maps have just been, I guess, encouraging camping for the most part, and it feels like you can't run around or like just have that aggressive play style anymore, and it really punishes you to even just like be aggressive towards a camper, really. And I don't know. It's hard to play with my normal play style, and I know a lot of people share these same opinions, where people will be camping in windows or just doors, and especially with the mounting feature, they'll be behind some sort of counter or desk in some weird corner that you obviously have to cross, but you can't really deal with them necessarily. And sometimes it's not even some like obvious corner. They'll just be in some random place that they'll be holding the angle for the longest time, and you'll just happen to cross by and you'll die. Just because you might not even be rushing or being aggressive. You might just be running to the other side of the map because you know that there's gonna be people spawning over there, or whatever the reason might be for you to go across the map. It's just hard to play when you keep dying to things like that, where it just limits your movement and you have to play so slowly when you're used to something so much more fast-paced. And it just seems like a lot of people are okay with just staying in a spot for the longest time, not getting that many kills, but also not getting that many deaths, and just sitting there the entire match. And it just, for me, it would be really boring, but I think there are some players that have just been longing for a Call of Duty like this, where they can kind of play more tactical, I guess, and sit back and then just watch some angles, which is fine. But it definitely is a little more punishing towards players that want to be more aggressive. And yeah, so that's that. And I think one small change is that I think lobbies should be removed, or like the way that it works right now is after every game you're put into a different lobby. I think we should be able to keep like in our lobby that we already are in, because sometimes you just meet like really cool people and it'd be nice to be able to stay with them. I think also that a lot of these maps, going back to the maps, I think that for different game modes such as like TDM, they should be different sizes. They should keep the same map, but they should have their borders changed up so that it makes sense for that game mode. So, for example, you have Anaya Palace. That map is massive. It could be a ground war map, and I'm not even kidding. I think it would be actually a really fun ground war map, a 32v32. It's probably a little small, like just a teeny bit small for a ground war map, but it would just make sense, and it would be a fun little smaller map that could be a little more chaotic for ground war, but it would still be a lot of fun. And especially in TDM, where there's not a whole lot of objectives so that people congregate or like around there, you just don't know where anybody is going to be, and there's just so many places that people could be camping and holding angles and just keep, because eventually a team is going to completely dominate the palace itself, and there's going to be no way for the other team to go inside, and it's just really unbalanced at that point. And even if it wasn't so, it's just such a big map that not even gunfights, just getting anywhere on the map takes an absolute decade. And then once you do, you're most likely going to be faced with some guy already camping in a spot that's going to kill you, and then you have to run all the way from spawn back to that spot so that you can try to take care of him again. And it's just, at that point, it's just a running, walking simulator, which is not fun, especially for a Call of Duty game. And yeah, there's some sight lines and some other maps that should be like boarded up. I think there's just way too many angles to cover. But I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true for all maps, but some maps there's just a lot of sights. But maybe that's what their vision was, to just play the game a little slower and kind of scan your entire area before going through. And I feel like that kind of makes sense, and then we probably adapt to that eventually, especially when we start learning the maps a little bit more, the ins and outs. And so that might not be that big of a deal, but I definitely do think that the map should be smaller for these smaller game modes. And I think they did an awesome job with the cross-platform play. Now I'm kind of getting into just like everything about Modern Warfare, not just necessarily the exhausting parts. I'm just kind of doing everything that like I'd like to see changed. But the cross-platform parties is just an amazing feature. I think it's great that they didn't just stop at just having cross-platform play, where something like Rocket League, where you can play with people cross-platform, but you can't party up with them and matchmake with them. And with this, you can, and it's really great, and it works out really well, and there's honestly not that many issues just because they have it balanced with aim assist and everything. But that being said, I hope that they can implement some sort of party chat feature just for your lobby that you're in with your friends or whatever, because PS4 and Xbox don't really have a Discord integration. I know that Xbox has kind of one where it shows the activity, but it's not necessarily, you can't like actually talk with people on Discord and Xbox. So it'd be really nice to have this sort of party system where you could just chat in there and you wouldn't have to listen to all the other people in the lobby. And it would be really nice, and it would be just a step in the right direction, and I feel like that could open up a whole lot of possibilities for a bunch of different game developers as well, just to have an integrated party feature with voice chat just for the party themselves. And I think that sums it up mostly. Netcode and that kind of thing is always going to be an issue, and they're obviously going to fix it eventually. And I think some spawns are just not great on the map, but again, that goes into map flow. But yeah, I think those are really the big reasons that make this game really exhausting to play after a while. And some things like footsteps and things like that, and some people have opinions about minimap having the red dots and stuff. Again, it all just comes down to personal opinion. I think it's a cool direction that they went to with not having red dots and making sound more of like a prevalence in the game, but I think they need to work on it a lot more because the footsteps are just really weird. They're really loud sometimes, and you can hear people across the map. It's crazy how it works. But sometimes I feel like I can't hear anybody, and it's just, I think if it was consistent, it would be fine, but if it isn't, then we might as well just go back to the old system, just because that's what we've been trained to do since Call of Duty 1, essentially, and we've just been trained to look at the mini-map for all of our information. It's weird that they have, like, a compass at the top, and then they also have a mini-map, just two different spots where you have to split your attention to, and it's just hard to keep track of all the information. You have your sound cues, you have your visual cues, you have the mini-map, and then you have this compass thing, which has the weird dots on it that go bigger and smaller, and you're expected to know how big the dot is so that you can know how far away the person is. And it's crazy how they want you to really like use that information. It's really difficult to do so. I don't think it's like feasible, but who knows, we might be able to get used to it eventually and then use that to our advantage. But I think that we should maybe go back, but that's just me. But yeah, all that being said, Modern Warfare is an amazing game. I love it. I haven't finished the campaign fully yet. I am really close to it, I think, but it is amazing. The campaign is amazing. If you haven't played the campaign, or if you don't normally play campaigns of Call of Duty games, I would highly, highly recommend this one. This one is just amazing. It is great. No spoilers, but it is fantastic. I really recommend it. And Spec Ops, not so much. Spec Ops, I feel like, was really not well made at all. Or it's not really well balanced, at least for now. I feel like they kind of just back-ended that and focused on the multiplayer and campaign, which I agree with, but I hope that Spec Ops gets some improvements during the near future, because it is a game mode that people were definitely had like high hopes for, just because Modern Warfare 2 and 3s were so good. And it would be nice to have a really nice Spec Ops mode, a cooperative mode, especially since you can play with all your PC and Xbox and PS4 friends together, and co-op would be just awesome with that if they had a good co-op mode. It's not bad, it's just really weirdly balanced, and it just doesn't seem to flow well. Again, flow is just an issue. And multiplayer, as many issues as it has, the gunplay is extremely satisfying, and the challenges and everything like that, it's actually fun to play those. And again, guns are just the most vital part about a Call of Duty game, aside from maps probably, but guns are just such an important part, and they nailed the guns so well. I think there are some imbalances with like the M4 being a little bit more powerful than other guns, and like the PKM is a really powerful gun, but again, it's not too bad. All the guns feel really satisfying to get kills with and use, so it's not that big of a deal. And obviously with time, it's going to be balanced, because they need to get it out to the public so that everybody gets a chance to use the guns, so that we can see how to balance them correctly for all players, and I think they're getting some good data right now. And hopefully in November at some point they're going to go ahead and have a nice balance update, and just a bunch of other stability and everything like that would be really nice for an update. Probably, hopefully before the Christmas sales and stuff go online, so that people that get it over the holidays can have a nice experience, and we do too. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I'm loving Modern Warfare. Hopefully you guys are too. If you aren't, or if you are, just leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about Modern Warfare. And I will see you in the next video. Don't just do it, ace it, and bye-bye.